Hello everybody, I am Uncle Mike with my Kerbal Kareer on Kerbal Space Program, the Xbox One Enhanced Edition. And this is mission 22 after a 3-week hiatus because I traveled to Germany in real life. And so here we are with mission 22. In mission 21, we sent our probe, we built and sent our probe on a 2-year mission to Duna. So we've got time here, a couple of years, that we can either send other probes to other planets, or what we can do is what I'm thinking about doing is go ahead and focus now on some manned or Kerbal missions here using our Manley vehicles named after Scott Manley, a virtual astronaut on YouTube. So you should go check out Scott Manley in the description below. We've been using the Comrade vehicles, which are unmanned probes, and the Comrades are named after Admiral Andre, and a link to his YouTube channel is below as well. So let's go ahead and get right into the VAB here and kind of refresh our memory as to what we had. And then we need to think about doing some contracts to get some money, because we spent some money there to make that large vehicle to transfer to Duna here on that multi-year probe mission. So let's take a look real quick here at our last Manley vehicles here, and it was the, looks like the Mark III. Let's load that up. Yep, there is the Mark III. Absolutely. So I see that we've got some good stuff here. The nice vehicle. Not really sure. Yeah, it's single. Does not have any landing legs, so this is not a lander. So let's go ahead and take a look here. Return to the Space Center, and let's take a look at what contracts we have and that we want to do. So let's go ahead and go into the contract. So an orbital specific, do a bunch of tests, explore the Mun, ferry two tourists safely to destination and back. So looks like this is a suborbital flight, polar orbit, position the Mun relay to in an adjusted orbit. There's the Duna, so we'll need to get that probably once we get out there, so we can see, we can do some maneuvers to position ourselves. So we can test this. That gives us not a lot of money, so I'm going to reset some of these test ones. They're light, but I'm not going to do that here, so I'm going to decline that one and decline that one. Position a satellite, ferry 2, that's 1 star. I really want more star missions, so, or contracts. So test orbiting the Mun. It gives us quite a bit. This also gives us quite a bit, but there's nothing really. I need to really get something up into orbit and man. So I guess we ought to maybe focus on science, because there's just really nothing that's popping up here. They're all tests and all of this as I go through those. Yeah, I think we're going to need to explore the Mun, return to Kerbin from orbit of the Mun, return to Kerbin from a flyby of the Mun. So we can just, so this is this one right here. Maybe this is what we'll do. Maybe we'll send something around the Mun here. Because if we do turn it from a flyby 80,000, you get an advance, and if you complete it, so it would be somewhat discriminating if all the missions to the Mun were one-way trips, bring one back to Kerbin. So I think we're going to take that one there. Like I said, I'm going to get rid of these. Here's another one that we can rescue somebody in the orbit of Kerbin, and that's always fun to do, so I'm going to grab that one. There's another rescue. The rescues are always fun to me, so I think maybe we'll get that one too. Because if we do those rescue missions, that also gets more into our, you know, space center and stuff like that. So let's see what we had for a mission to rescue. So we got the rescue ones. That's what we're going to focus on here. And we need a manly vehicle. And I think I had one specifically for that. Did I not? Doesn't really look like. I thought I had one for a rescue. This is the Mark II. What does the Mark II look like? That's a smaller version. I'm a little leery that that's going to have the Delta V. So let's go ahead and load up the Mark III. There's the Mark III. There it is. It's a little bit more expensive, but I know it's going to have the Delta V here. Need to make sure that it is. Take out Jebediah out of there. You can see we got quite a good pool of Kerbonauts here, so this should have, yep, it does have that. So now we can get that up there. Go rescue those Kerbs. Let's go ahead and now put this on the launch pad. Let's see what we've got here for where they're at. We can target them from the launch pads here. So let's go ahead and get this on the launch pad. See what our Kerbal Kareer here is going to make us have to do to rescue these guys. So there is Demon's Craft. So let's go ahead and set that as a target. It's in a really good position. So yeah, let's go ahead and light this candle, huh? So, all right, throttle is go, staging is go, SAS is armed and go. We are T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and here we go, and lift off. Here we go. Let's go ahead and make sure, yep, that looks like they're pretty equatorial, so everything's good. Away we go. We'll rescue Demon, and then we'll have to reset the craft and go rescue the other one. So here we go, coming up to 100 meters per second. We are now going to start our pitch program. So pitch program starting. I need to actually also take out all the gimbal from all the other boosters. Don't need everything gimbaling. The pitch program. We are going to throttle this a little bit because Demon's in a very low orbit. Everything is looking 5 by 5 here. Go ahead and throttle back here a little bit. That's going up. I'm just going to check here. What is? So yeah, low orbit there. Really low orbit. 10 kilometers in altitude, 400 meters per second. Everything's looking good here. I'm going to continue pitch program because we have to go to a low orbit to rescue Demon here. Throttling back. "20 kilometers in altitude. Everything is looking good here. Right, so right in front of us now is goes Demon. Reticle there. Coming up on throttle up and booster separation, so throttle up and booster nice separation. Here we go to orbit. Up on 40 kilometers in altitude. Continuing our pitch program here. Again, the main reason why we're doing this very aggressive pitch program is because right there is Demon, and so definitely don't want to get into a very high orbit. We want to be just barely in orbit here. So coming up on 58 kilometers in altitude, we are going to now pitch over the equatorial, the prograde equatorial here, and just now go for orbit. So I'm going to fly this thing quite a bit. Actually going to want to take out a lot of this climb that we've got. See what we've got here. Went high. There is Demon. So we're going to do a coast phase here up to apoapsis, go into orbit and go into a low orbit, and then we've got to catch up to him. So it's going to take us a little bit to catch up to him. So I'm actually going to go ahead and throttle this. We're going to fly this vehicle. We're going to pull our apoapsis down as we go to orbit. So I'm pitched down here, pulling that apoapsis as we also gain some tangential velocity to get into orbit. So we got to catch up to Demon here. I'm going to be on a very, very shallow orbit. Good. Pitching now. I'm just controlling that apoapsis best I can. Alright, we just ran out of fuel there, so let's go ahead and stage. Let's go ahead and get that fairing off. Fairing's coming off. Nice fairing there. Ooh, I can't remember how to. Oh, no. What is it? I don't remember what the key is. Bring up the that. Let's go and get a solar panel out. At least a solar panel out. Got plenty of height, so we're going to an altitude. So we'll clear out our orbit here. So there we go. Get some solar panels. Need to also open up this antenna. There it is. It was under here that I had everything. Sure. Nope, maybe not. Okay, let's go back here. We are going to need to now get to orbit. So let's just go ahead and want our periapsis to be really low, like just a kilometer or so above 70, so about 71 here. So here we go. And what we'll do is that periapsis will knock that down, our apoapsis down. So we're gonna have to catch up here to Demon, and this must be the other guy that we need to do. This is Kirkot's ship. So all right, so let's go ahead and warp to periapsis as we slowly catch up here. There we go. Let's go ahead and rotate the vehicle, and then let's bring down our apoapsis because we want to stay in a lower orbit than Demon because we want to catch up. So get into a faster orbit. Here we go. Let's go ahead now and burn. Barely still in orbit here. Pull this apoapsis here. And lower here. Go. Now we will catch up. It'll just take us an orbit or two to catch up. So what we can do here is we will go ahead and and warp to over here. Oop, that's not what I wanted to do. Just gonna warp over here. So we are just slowly catching up Demon here. So we can get here our vehicle, and then we can transfer. Looks like it's going to take quite a while here. Let's go ahead and add a maneuver. What we can do is we can just add do something like that. Let's go ahead and add a maneuver over here. We're going to do several orbits to be able to, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Hold down, cancel. We're going to need to do several because he dips inside. Okay, that's what's happening. It's really low, and I think he might actually have a decaying orbit, so we're going to need to add right back up. Pretty good. This is where we're at. 10 kilometers, yeah, we'll take that. So all right, so can I warp now to I can then warp to the next. See if there's a way that I can warp to the next maneuver, but it doesn't seem. So let's go ahead and go all the way around here. It's just gonna in such a low orbit that it's just gonna take us a while to catch up to him. That's just what happens with the time. It's orbits are just that way. So slowly catching up to him. Just a way that I could zoom in. Yep, warp to next maneuver. Here we go. All right. Here we go. Warp into the next maneuver. Said it just which is okay because remember we've got that Duna probe on a 2-year mission, so we've got plenty of time to do things. But now you can really get an idea of how we're in a lower orbit, just a slightly about as low as we can get. It just takes 3 or 4 orbits here for us just to catch up and get nice and close to Demon here, so we can actually then rendezvous with them and then transfer them over in this vehicle and then bring them home. And then we'll need to do the same thing for Kirkop. We are now just warping on over here to our node, our maneuver node, so we can then go ahead and do our maneuver, get on an intercept. Looks like it'd be about 10-kilometer intercept. That's pretty close for what we want to do. All right, let's go. Let's get set up here for our maneuver. We can also then go ahead and that's set up so we can watch what we do and we can see how close we get here. We could actually probably just almost go like one or two more orbits and we would be really, really close. But in this here, we will just a very small burn. Here. Alrighty, there is the burn. Got this one over here at 12, so we can actually intercept over there too. So let's just go ahead and take a look at what we've got here. So we're only 8.5. Might as well just go ahead and intercept. So let's go ahead and what we're going to do is it's going to be a little different than I've done normally. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start an intercept. So I'm just going to, first what I'm going to do is just go ahead and do get a little bit of oomph there right toward, and as you can see, so what we can do here is we can actually then pull our velocity vector. I'm going to go ahead and just shoot over here. What that's doing is I'm pulling my velocity toward, so we're going almost right toward Demon's craft. So there we go. It's looking pretty good. There we go. I'll do that. So now we're at least now moving really toward the direction that we want to go. Now what you can do is that was prograde, and because we've got a fairly maneuverable craft here, we can then go ahead and just rotate to the retrograde. So here we are in target mode now, retrograde. And so now I can actually push the yellow velocity vector onto, and that will slow me down also. So I can actually see I can slow myself down here while I'm actually pushing my velocity vector. So we're heading right toward Demon's craft. So what we're doing, we're 5.9 kilometers out. We could go faster. So this is a standard right here, rendezvous. So if you have a fairly maneuverable craft, you can actually do that. You can actually just keep doing that process. It's very basic. So the very, like I said, basic technique for rendezvous. So what I'm going to do is rotate my craft. So now that I'm prograde, everything's prograde, I'm pulling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the yellow onto the pink. So I'm going to shoot over here, and that's going to, I'm going to add some velocity. See how that pulls the yellow on there? Of course, I also gain velocity, relative velocity to the target. Now we're just going, so now those two are lined up. Then because I've got a maneuverable vehicle here, I can just go ahead and rotate the vehicle over here using the reaction wheels. And now as I get closer here, I could actually push, not pull. Now I'm in retrograde, I am now pushing the yellow onto the pink. So just gonna go, and also this will slow me down. So I'm not using RCS or docking mode yet. We will here in a little bit. But right now what I'm doing is I'm just doing a basic maneuver for an intercept. So you can see it's all kind of weird. I'm pointing, you know, retrograde, I'm pointing out into space. I'm not really pointing toward, because we're in really different orbits. So but I'm just going to let this do this because we're right now on a 100-second intercept, because we're going 30 meters per second. 30 meters times 100 would be 3,000 or 3 kilometers. So in 100 seconds, we're going to basically go flying by. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to start thinking about just putting a little bit of throttle and slowing down my relative velocity to Demon's craft, which is the target craft. And I am going to also push that yellow velocity vector, which is my velocity, onto the pink. And the farther I go over here, the harder I push. So there you go. I'm just pushing it onto the pink. I'm going to go ahead and engine stop. Now just go ahead and keep drifting in. Now we're still going toward Demon's Craft, but I'm retrograde just because I'm using the main engine here to slow down and do most of my maneuvering, even though I do have RCS thrusters and RCS fuel. And so we'll get to that docking once we get to within 1,000 meters here, or 1 kilometer. So you can see how the yellow is. So I'm just going to go ahead and still doing my 100-second intercept. So since I'm doing 17.5 meters per second there on my target relative velocity, times 100 would be 1,700 meters, and so that's basically collision in 100 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and slow down a little bit here, and also now push that yellow, since I'm in retrograde, onto the pink. So there you can see how I'm pushing it on there. There we go, engine stop. So there we go. I'm just using the main engine and maneuvering the vehicle and positioning the vehicle to actually do a nice rendezvous here, so we can get that money for rescuing Demon. Of course, we'll need to bring him back, and I think at some point I need to make like a 3-passenger rescue vehicle. So all right, so we're at 12 meters per second. Times 100 is 1,200 meters, so still at 100-second collision. That's how I like to do it. So we're now going pretty much right toward. So I'm going to go ahead and slow this down, just nice and easy. Slow this down. There we go. We go maybe to about 6. There we go. So now we're about 150 seconds out from collision. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and rotate the vehicle so we're looking right at Demon's Craft, and we're going to go ahead and start to go into, I know I've got enough time to do this, so I'm just going to go ahead and just look right at, I'm going to go ahead and switch the view to locked. There we go. So view to locked. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn on the RCS thrusters, and we're going to go into docking mode. And so now what we can do is we can actually just use the RCS thruster. So now it's actually really, really easy, because your RCS thrusters control your velocity vector. So the velocity vector right now is a little high, right? And so what we're going to do is we can actually just give some down RCS and just push that yellow right to where we want it. We're a little bit to the right, so we'll go left. There we go. Now and since we're a little fast, we can then slow down. So we're at 5 meters per second, 500 meters away. So we're still at a 100-second collision. That's how I do this. So everything is looking real good here for our rendezvous. And what we're going to do is we're just going to do a rendezvous. I'm going to go ahead and give a little bit of left. So just go ahead and keep that yellow velocity vector centered on pink. We're going to come up here, then we'll need to switch to Demon's Craft, and then we can actually then let him do an EVA and just drift on over onto this craft right here. And this is a very low orbit rendezvous here. So all right, so we're at 350 meters, so I want to slow down here to 3.5 and kind of see the pattern here that I'm doing. Again, why am I doing that? Because I want that 100-second intercept, so I know how much time I have before I have a collision. That way it gives me time to do things, right? Especially on the interface, the user interface of Kerbal Space Program, because I want to make sure I have that time to do it. So, all right, looking good. We're going to go ahead and give a little bit more left to go ahead and get that velocity vector right on there. So everything's looking really good here. We're almost at 200 meters here, so I want to then slow down to at least 2 meters, because that's a 100-second collision then. So I'm a little low, so I'm going to go ahead and raise it up a little bit. There we go. So just correcting it nice and easy. And of course, in the real world, you see the little thrusters, all right, on SpaceX or Soyuz and that type of thing. So pretty real here. So let's go ahead and keep this center. We just want to keep going right toward Demon's Craft here, and then we will slow down, and then we will, like I said, switch over to his craft and then bring him over, and then go ahead and well, you know, I think about this, I really need to think about this. Thing's got science and all kinds of stuff on it, so it's really spending a lot of money that I really don't need to spend for a rescue mission. Alrighty, so everything's looking good here. We're just slowly drifting in here. Again, thinking about that collision. So at 100 meters, you know, if I still want to be a 100-second collision, I need to be going 1 meter per second or less. So we're going to come in a little hot here because we're going to try to save some time here and get up in here because it's a little tiny vehicle. He's just probably in a capsule or something. Then we'll need to go to the tracking station, I think, to switch. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep going right. We're at 60 meters here, so we're coming in, like I said, a little hot, but that's okay. We need to go ahead and get him close, get the vehicle's relative velocity down to 0. That way we can then transfer him over here. So, all right, I'm gonna go start slowing down here. Control my direction with my RCS. Do I not have a docking light on this thing? I guess I do not. So. Capsule is right there, so I'm just going to go ahead and start really slowing down. Go. Nice. That is so weird that I don't have a docking light on this. Oh yeah, I do right there. Let's light him up. There we go. Too bad they did not have a docking port because we have a docking port on our vehicle. So look at this very nice rendezvous here. All right, can I just like, no, see it doesn't on the Expo. I don't know how to actually switch it. What we're going to do is we're going to go to the tracking station, jump in that vehicle, switch them over, and then bring them home. Oof, look at all that stuff going on. All right, so there's Demon's Craft. And we want to fly Demon's Craft because then we want to control him, bring him over here to our vehicle. There we go. Yeah, pretty cool there. I have to admit, a scientist, very nice. Looks like Demon is a woman, so go ahead and EVA. Go. Here we go. Come on over. All right. So now what we want to do is we want to make sure that, you know, now we can have some fun here. We could try to manipulate that vehicle there. Uh-oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Not really. I know that there's a way to switch the modes on docking. I need to be in docking mode. Duh. All right, so there we go. So let's see what we can do here. Oh. Very interesting. All right, let's go ahead and get out of this. Let's go into docking mode. Let's bring Demon home here. Go ahead and get out of go. Let's bring Demon home. So we gotta go ahead and do a deorbit burn here. Get rid of everything. All right, we're gonna go over here because I want to be able to see my periapsis. That's not my periapsis. That's my there we go. Perfect. 40. That's what I wanted. Go ahead and rotate to a normal. Go ahead and bring up, extend that antenna just so we have it, because we're about to let loose. Go ahead now and just a little bit of an angle here, and let's go ahead and stage that. There that goes. Get that off of there. See ya. All right, here we go. We are gonna bring Demon home. Go ahead and warp here a little bit. Up time. All right, let's go ahead. Vehicle back on track. Let's bring up our resources. I'm just curious to see the resources. This is now our all of our goodness. So he's now part of the space program, and we saved them. We just need to get them back now. So bring up that. Go, there it is pinned. The blader. We got plenty of battery power for this. So let's go ahead now and also time warp here. Just do this a little quicker. Everything should be okay here. We've used this vehicle many times. Demon looks like she's having a great time here on the descent. We're just warping as fast as we can here to get Demon home and get her part of the space program. So usually we should get heating effects at about 50 kilometers. So let's go ahead and come out of 4x warp, fly the vehicle to get it oriented to everything else here. So go, heating effects are on. So let's go ahead now and orient the vehicle right into retrograde. Like I said, I need to do a better. I'm not sure why I don't have any game sound. That is interesting. I don't have any game sound in my ear, and nor is there any on the recording. So I will fix that for the next flight here that we're going to do. And the next flight, I'll probably just I'll do it, but the next rescue, but I'll probably fast forward or something. Everything is looking good. I think I can actually probably retract this antenna. Yep. Oh. Yeah, don't know why. I don't know. There's some. Yeah, there's some. Just very faint for some reason. I need to turn that up. So there is game sound. It's just really low. Don't know why. Guess I must have changed that at some point. Maybe it's just faint because it just really haven't started to make a lot of noise. Heating up, but just not a lot of friction to make a lot of noise right now. So everything's looking good. Demon looks like she is enjoying the ride here back to Kerbal after the rescue mission. And we will go get Kirkot. Maybe do the Manley Mark II, that rescue. So everything's looking good here. Just flying the vehicle, got plenty of charge in the battery, so I can keep SAS on here. Coming really up to the high heating here once we get to, I think, about 35 kilometers or so. G-forces will start to come up too on Demon. And we're just doing this because we need some funds, because I had to upgrade the VAB in mission 21. Basically get all of the heavy weight of that launch vehicle. Looking good. Aerodynamic forces are really coming up here on, because I've got that Science Junior. Maybe we'll actually make it a vehicle and we'll just take out some of this, because we've got plenty of, we don't need all that science, we got plenty of fuel, so you take out, maybe make a rescue. Maybe I'll call it like the Manley Mark III rescue vehicle, right? It's just hard to control. This vehicle's aerodynamics now is much different. It does not want to just stabilize right into retrogrades. We're slowing down good, so we're going to come out of heating effects here real soon. There we go, coming out of heating effect. I'm going to go ahead and turn SAS off now and just let the vehicle aerodynamically stabilize. We can go ahead and see if there's any science. I don't think there is way up here. Yeah, so we can keep that and open this up. See what we've got in here. Got a mystery goo. Ooh, 0.1 science. Heck yeah. And that is all taken, so good there. Oh, but that one right there, no, we have not, so that's good. I think I've got another goo on this side, so depending on where we land here. In the dark. Can't even see where we're landing at, so whew. But it's definitely on land. So we will see here. Don't have any lights or anything right now, so you can see how the vehicle aerodynamically, you know, stabilizes in different configurations based on how you rotate it. That's very interesting. All right, let's go ahead and deploy the drogues. Deployed. We'll land and we'll see if we can get some science from here too. That would be beneficial. Go ahead and deploy the mains. Good. Now let's go ahead and some warp here and see. Get down here, land, see if we can get some science. That's a nice looking vehicle, but I need to take off that Science Junior. I just don't need it. So go ahead, come out of warp here, let it settle. Go landing. Go, nice. Let's see what we've got here. No science there. Already done it. Temperature, no, not there either. Pressure, nope, not there either, so that doesn't really help us at all. Let's think about doing a crew report. Crew report, does that give us anything? No, it does not. So that. Let's see if we can do an EVA. EA report? Nope. Or nope. So we've already done all this, so let's just go ahead and board here and recover the vehicle. So we got a little bit of science that we hadn't got before. Still got a lot of science around Kerbin that I could actually get also, but really need to start putting Kerbins onto the MUN and do more stuff there so we get more contracts. Really what I need to probably do. So we got some good science, 31 science now. Everything's looking good. Got a lot of money. Demon was advanced, so that's very cool. All right, so let's go into the VAB. Let's look at making just a rescue version of the Manley Mark III here. Open this up. Let's just go ahead and here to this point on, take that off. Take that off. Get rid of it. And now we can put this back on. Back on. We'll just carry some science with us just in case we need it. But now we also need to add those 4 RCS thrusters that we just took off. So 4 of those. All right, so let's just go ahead and put those like right there. All right, so I think everything is still good. So what we're going to do though is we're going to rename this. So they're going to rename this Rescue 1. Just get rid of that Science Junior. Now we should have a lot easier time on the deorbit and the entry here. So let's go ahead and launch this. See where Kirkot is. Let's go rescue Kirkot. And in this video, I will probably speed up the video because you just saw how I did it, and this is just going to be a repeat, just maybe a little bit different orbit. So let's go ahead and see here. Oh, I have a problem though. So everything's looking good. Let's go ahead and I need to cover the vehicle. Why? Because I do not want a Kerbin in there. This is not a 2-seater here. This is a rescue version, so I need to make sure that there's no Kerbin in that, because we're going to fly this up and do the transfer like we just did. So let's go ahead. Yep, very good, Jebediah. But I don't want you in there. But now we've saved it, so we've got now the Manley Mark III Rescue 1 version. All right, so there it is. Let's go ahead and make sure now that that is empty. Take you out, buddy. Yep, there we go. Very good. Now let's launch this. And it looks like we've got a pretty good launch window here because Kirkot looks like Kirkot is already coming around very nicely. We'll take a look. Again, we do not want a very aggressive orbit. So actually we want a very aggressive orbit, a very aggressive pitch profile, because we do not want to go into a high orbit. So here we go. This is Demon's junk now, but here we are. And here it comes Kirkot at 80. It looks like to be about 82 kilometers, and looks like a good position because we can always go high and slow down, let Kirkot catch up to us. So we are going to go ahead and launch. So All right, staging is go, throttle is set and go, SAS is on and go. We are T-minus 5, 4, main engine start, 1, and liftoff here of the Manley Mark III Rescue 1 vehicle to go get Kerkat. So here we go. Be a little bit more aggressive here on this pitch profile. 50 meters per second. Pitch profile is beginning. We are go to rescue Kerkat. So looking good here. Like I said, flying a fairly aggressive profile, pitch profile. This Kerkat is in again a fairly low orbit, so got the signature orange color there. So all right, well, I will see you at rendezvous with Kerkat. All right, well, here we are at rendezvous with Kerkat. So let's go ahead now and switch to Kerkat's vehicle. Let's bring Kerkat over, and let's go ahead and bring Kerkat back to the surface. We can actually terminate that vehicle. Go ahead, these are all of our nodes, and go ahead now and fly Kerkat's debris, and let's transfer Kerkat, and then we will be done here with mission 22. They're just going to continue to do stuff as we've got our Duna probe out there. So there is Kerkat. So let's go ahead. Yeah, Kerkat, you ready? You ready, buddy? Let's do this, huh? Go ahead and let go there, buddy. Go ahead and get you some thrusters. Go ahead and bring you over here. Whoa, whoa, where are you going, buddy? Here we go. You up here. Whoa, whoa. Bad perspective. I couldn't even really tell where I was. It was going to go right for the handholds, but clearly not. Grab on, go ahead and get on board. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and get you into orbit mode. Go ahead and turn off RCS here. Get you retrograde. Turn off all that. There we go. Let's go ahead and design a maneuver. Add a maneuver here. Just so we can fly this then from we can fly it here, so you can actually see as we slow down how Kerkat's debris is going to just go flying off here. So here we go, ready for the burn, and there it goes. Woo, as we slow down. All right. We got a little time to wait here, so we'll go ahead and then fast travel here to atmosphere. Go. We are going to come over here at an angle just as we enter the atmosphere and separate. There that goes on separation, and now we are should be a pretty stable vehicle, so we're not going to here, as soon as we really enter the atmosphere, turn off SAS and just test this here with Kirkot since we took off that Science Junior. So I will see you on the surface. All right, we are just about touchdown here. See where we're at? I think we're back in the grasslands. Okay, heat shield blew up there at the end. Not really sure why that happened. Let's go ahead and open up the service bay and just check and see where we're at here. Like we actually, looks like the science blew up. So we're back in the grasslands. We just did that, so let's go ahead and recover the vehicle, and that will conclude mission 22 here of my Kerbal Kareer on the Kerbal Space Program Xbox One Enhanced Edition. We've got some good funds here. We went from about 180,000 funds to 346, so very nice here for mission 2. We completed some missions down here. As you can see, we've got some things that were taken care of, so we got that. So those were good rescue missions. Probably need to be a little more frugal with the design for doing these rescues, but we've still got our vehicle heading out to Duna. And so now I am going to transition my Kerbal Kareer to do more Kerbal flights or manned flights with our manly vehicles. So, well, you know the plan. Thumbs up because you are amazing. Subscribe and chime that bell to get notified. I am Uncle Mike.